Mario with MIA Microflight. Once again, so much I want to get uh, into the space of this video, and we'll start with this section right here. This, of course, is for anybody who has been following my latest project on this turbo racing track. You already know what the track looks like. Some of the pieces that I've made. So I just did this last night. I made this. This is a bumpy road. I'm gonna have to clean that up a little more because I did print it with supports, and I just don't like that support. These little things, these imperfections showing on the edges. So I'm gonna make that completely flat, just on the border. The rest can be underneath supported, and that you don't see. This is working really nice. It does slow down the car. I thought I was going to be able to get the little car to be able to jump, from one bump to the other. I guess if it's fast enough, this is just not fast enough, to create that little bump there. But it does provide an interesting action on the function of the little cars. You can see how cute these little cars are. But you've seen the lamps that I've done. I have to create a bunch of these lamps so that I can put them at each of these track sections right here. They're supposed to get one per track. These are 6-inch tracks by 6-inch width, just to keep it nice and simple, nice and easy to for any geometry to just interlock. These panels, once again, are 3 by 2 feet by 3 feet. That's how they come, and so that's what I decided to use. I actually removed the old ones that I had because those I had to shorten from another project, and I just I figured just use the stock panel, which comes in 2 by 3 feet, and so it's working out really nice with these dimensions that I just mentioned of the track. I have been okay. The track is attached with these rivets from the bottom of the panel, so I did have to punch holes right through the perforated corrugated section, and it's a lot easier to punch the holes in between the two walls that make up the flutes, because if you try to punch in right through that thin wall, it becomes a little difficult. It is doable if you just keep this nice and tight. So I did have to clamp this before punching the holes, especially on the edges here, so they are precise. And precision is the key here when you're assembling stuff like this, especially when you have to, if you want to make this a little more permanent, and that's the reason for these rivets here. So I ordered a bunch of these rivets. I just recently got these. These are, by the way, 1/8 by 5/8, and it's the longest that I could get. 5/8 in meaning the stem is 5/8. And the reason for that 5/8 is because the other ones that I had here, those shorter ones, were not protruding above the fence here, and I wanted that to protrude up a little bit higher. I wish it would have been a little bit higher than that. I'm getting about 3/16 of an inch protrusion above this fence here, so that I can plug in my light here. You can see those lights also are pluggable like that, and I'm using the aluminum tubing actually to create the plug here. But if I didn't have that light is supposed to plug right, the 3D printed base is supposed to plug right in there, and the wiring goes right through. This needs this shaft or stem removed, so I have to do these on a vise. Just hit this pin out of the actual rivet, and just keep the rivets just like I did with these other ones here. You can see these are the same thing, 1/8 rivets. Hollow, and of course, and then without the stem. So that's how I'm doing all the connections here. I could have used screws from the bottom, but then with screws you don't have the hollow inside on the screw. So that's the purpose of using the rivets. It just makes it for a lot more functional connector or a retainer for the track, and allows any wiring that needs to be routed. Such as for these lamps, right through it and underneath. So that's the purpose of that. There's a lot of thought that has gone into this track. Trust me, if you've been watching my videos, you know how I approach things. I approach things from all angles, and not just one, two, but sometimes dozens of ideas and layouts and and I just got to try all things that I can that come to my mind until I'm very satisfied with the final one. And so this is as far as the functionality and the assembly. It's there. I mean, if there's a better way, put it in the comments below if you have a better way to do this, or don't say anything. Just keep it to yourself. Um, the ramp, this is also corrugated plastic, and this is the one that I painted with primer, just auto primer. The thing with I should mention this, the thing with paints, either plastic or whatever paint you use on plastic, um, anything that's polyethylene, it has some kind of a vinyl coating. Paint does not adhere to it. In fact, paint it reacts and it becomes really gummy and sticky, and it doesn't want to dry up because it interacts with at a micron level with that plastic material, with the vinyl, especially with vinyl components or anything that has a little bit of vinyl in the plastic. When you spray paint, it just doesn't. Vinyl does not like paint. And so that's the same thing. I believe it's happening here with this primer over this, because this is a little bit. I mean, it's clean. You can touch this, but it does have almost like a gummy surface here. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it works as far as a grip. For the car, for gripping, it's a lot better than this, because this is almost. It's not really slippery, but this makes it a little more grippy, just that type of coating. The ultimate coating that I'm trying to put here is this foam, EVA foam. If I can get this material, it's a little dirty here. Just a lot of plastic because I've been drilling. So this stuff right here is great for gripping, the rubber tires, and so this is the material that I'm trying to get in with a sticky back in small, in small increments, maybe 9 by 12 or something like that. There I can cut them and just assemble them as the surface material right on top of the track. In fact, look at that. I mean, I think I cut this piece to 6 inches. So all this would need is just some markings for the lines right here, and for that. I went to the dollar store and I got this stuff right here. This is correction tape, just to apply correction tape. And of course, I got to be careful to do that. I will do another video on this, how this turns out. I don't know if this is going to work, but that was one of my ideas here in doing that, or just using this white. I don't know how this is going to work with this EVA foam, but it's an option. The other option is to just use a white marker, something that's a permanent marker, and draw the lines. Or the other thing to do would be to have this printed, that's a little more elaborate, and you need the right printer to do that. So I'm getting away from the basic do-it-yourself project type thing, something that you can easily build. And so that's the purpose also of this. With these components here, I do plan on offering these components to people. So if you're interested in this particular layout. I mean, you can do any layout. You just need the parts right here. That's all you need, and just let your mind go nuts, and figure out your own layout. It's really easy to interconnect these things the way I designed them, and so you can build, your own track. And you can do the same thing I've done, basically, because it's already done for you and all calculated and everything. I can show you this whole setup right here. All you need is to go get these panels. I got these from Amazon. But you can get them also at Office Max, I believe. They have this also in black. Black would be kind of cool if you don't like the blue. I got blue because that's the color they had for 8 panels for $51. You're gonna have to spend a little money on something like this. But the beauty is that these are also interconnecting. You can see I've already designed these interconnected 3D printed parts, so that I can interconnect this via the flutes, and so everything matches up precisely. In addition, these panels right here are designed as interconnecting panels. You can see that this is it's over the center of the joint of these two panels. Likewise with this underpass right here, it's over the center of that. This is experimental. This is just my template, to create the punch holes through the corrugated plastic at 6-inch increments. So this is That's what this is. That's how I did my punching of the holes. For the curves, I created a template, just a cardboard template, just to do the outside curves, and then the inner ones are really easy done once you get those holes punched right through that corrugated plastic. This right here is just a piece of plastic, but not plastic, but paper that I was experimenting with, not experimenting, but actually drawing the lines. How far apart, how thick, so that it looks the part. So it looks. So it looks realistic and also appealing. It's gotta look good, and so I think this size right here would work great, and that is actually the same width, slightly maybe a little bit under width of this tape right here. This tape right here. So if I just wanted to create white lines over this material, I can use this right here. But like I said, I'll do another video over that material and over this material, and maybe some other materials if you want to coat the surface with something other than the foam. I mean, you can do this on a printer. Also, there are some papers that are, there's some media that you can print on using just an inkjet printer and just create this and just lay that pattern out. Of course, the curves would have to be created. I will do all this for my track, and then I will have all that stuff in case anybody that's watching this video that wants really to get into this track right here. And this track is designed for 176 scale, but will also work for 164 scale, which is just a little bit bigger, but it's perfect for that. I consider all those things. Trust me, taking all those things into account. The height is also high enough for these little guys as well as the 164th. So that's I wanted to cover that in this video. The track, of course, it's got the banners. I have a bunch of these that I have to print. I have a bunch of these little meshes that I have to print. They come around here and the corners, just to embellish this. This actually is going to get stickers. I have to design the stickers, racing stickers, along the borders. Really spiff this up. You've seen the buildings. If you've seen my videos, all the buildings that I have that just pop right on top of that. These areas right here could be green. Same thing, EVA foam to create some green areas, maybe some a lighter gray here to create a parking lot for that showroom building that I have. The lit up building that's got three garage entrances. Create a parking lot, with white lines here for the spaces for the cars. It can be a lot of stuff can be added to this, but yeah, this is as far as I've gotten with this. I already erased this, and it's coming out really well. Pardon me, my nose is running here. The other thing that I've done is I started this morning while I was having breakfast. I was contemplating doing another, since I already did that bump right there and this overpass right here. I'm like, what else can I do here that can really enhance the excitement of this track right here? And so I came up with this setup right here, a half ramp, which I'm going to have to design this on CAD, and then I'll 3D print this, and then my next video will have this already on the track. So this is going to be a half a track, half the width of this. So it's going to come up so the car will come. The car will have to come like this, and it can go up, and this will have to be a drop here, so that the cars underneath it can also run, in this direction. So this will come this way, boom. And if you reverse the track direction, this can come underneath here and come out that way right there, because this is an overpass. So it would be like a little tunnel right here in the opposite direction with no obstruction right here. That's the reason why I designed this banner with a post here high enough that it'll support this portion of the track. This is a ramp. This is why I labeled it ramp and drop right here, because I experiment with some drops at about an inch in height, which is the clearance of the bridge right there, and it was working out really nice. So this will come in here, drop into this track again, and then if you happen to go underneath, you'll just go underneath with plenty of room there. The full 6 inches there. So this is 3 inches right here, little track right here. So I think that's going to add to the excitement. A couple of these are on the track would be great. So I'm going to do that next. The other thing that I've been doing is I got some. I've been looking at some batteries, replacement batteries, and the cheapest battery that I found for this particular size car, 50. I think it was a 50 milliamp hour battery. These are 40 milliamp hour, and they're really tiny. The 50 milliamp is a little bit wider, and then I found some 100 milliamp hour for $16, which is the price that they go for if you buy 4 of them, which is very inexpensive that way. So I got 4 of those. Actually, they are right here. So let me just open this up so we can have a much better idea of what these things look like. So that's a 100 milliamp hour LiPo right here. And so unfortunately, I can't use this battery right there. Okay, unfortunately, I can't use this battery right here with the original canopy of this car, which is that body right there. This will probably work with a Mini Cooper because it's got it's got all this room inside. In fact, this Mini Cooper has a 70 milliamp hour battery, which is it's a little bit it's about the size of this one, but a little bit skinnier. But I think this 100 milliamp would also work inside this car right here. It'll be, not so tight, but just a snug fit, and I think that'll work right there. So what I've been doing is, in order to not to waste these batteries, I mean, I could use these in some other projects that I have, little helicopters and whatnots. But I think the way to get around this would be to just sacrifice the look of the body, and just design a 3D printed body so that I can use these 100 milliamp hour batteries, much longer running time than these right here, and it just needs a body. So I actually did that. I started designing one in CAD, and this is just a basic shape that I could print this like you said here. It's not a body that you're going to need resin. None of that stuff. You don't need a resin printer. You just need a nice printer printed at and this is printed at 0.03 or 0.3 millimeter in layer thickness. I could go to 1 millimeter or 0.1 millimeter in thickness and have a really nice high resolution surface on this. As you can see, it's not bad, but this is printed like this. So most of the area, the surface area, is printed with a flat. It's printed really nice. So this is what I came up with. Just taking some basic dimensions. So I did have to model the perimeter of these components here, and the height and the wheels, so that I can work around that in CAD. But you can see this is the part of that. What would be more like a truck. And I can massage this, make it more organic to make it look like a racing car. But this is my starting point. I actually have a Jeep and also a truck, just like a Ford truck, Ford 750 truck or something like that I already modeled in CAD. And I'm still working on that. I'm still massaging some of the corners, because it's now at this point it's just squarish shapes and sharp corners. So I need to round off some of these corners, angle the front shield, angle some of these, put a little more angle, put a little more design flair into it, so it looks so it doesn't look too boxy. But basically, that is not bad, in order to use these 100 milliamp hour batteries. So there's my take on these little guys. I have been also wanting to get a couple more of these, because I have a white, same thing as that one, with the white, which is that one, and this little Mini Cooper. But I think I am going to get another Mini Cooper just to have 2 Mini Coopers race, or 2 of these guys race, or 2 of these guys, the way that I'm going to make it. I did look into the 164 cars, those are just Matchbox or I think it's Matchbox. What's the other one? Hot Wheels and Matchbox. I do have a bunch of those little cars, and I did find one, a Porsche body that would probably work with this here, with a little modification on the wheel, because the wheelbase is not exactly the same, so that has to be massaged but I've been trying to avoid having to do major modifications on those cars, and that's the reason for just doing a 3D printed version. It's also lighter, and I have the model, that I can do some other models, change the shape, so it's a lot more flexible when you design your own. I could design this to the exact dimensions, or to the exact shape. It would take a lot more time for me to work on this, because this does require a lot more organic shaping. It's not just extrusions up and down, and then the blending or Boolean functions, subtraction, addition. But I could do this. It would just take a long time, and I just don't want to spend that much time, on doing something like that. I just want a cover that I can pop this right here, and just invest the time on having fun, with my grandkids and family. So this is where I'm at. My next part is going to be this ramp right here that is I just show right here. And so, hopefully, well, not hopefully, I know this is going to turn out just fine, because I do these things for a living. So it is the kind of work that I do. Once again, if you're interested in this particular track or parts of the track, put it in the comments below. Let me know which parts you're interested in. If you want to buy straights and a few curves, that's fine with me. I will quote you on that individually. I don't put prices. I'm not interested in putting this on my website as a kit, as I do with my ultralights, microlights, and all the other stuff that's currently on my website, because that takes time, and I just don't have the time to be going there and creating creating descriptions. So I'm not interested in that. You like what I'm doing here? Send me an email. Put it in the comments below. Mario, once again, thanks for watching.